guys go ahead and get started.
Iwi Malani, Pika Limawayans Viane, Nila Piwalia. It's so nice to meet you, Mishnewe, for being with us today. I am Red or Sherry, the station manager here at the Daybreak Star Radio Network, and Peoria Indian from Oklahoma, and I'm here with Dirty Harry.
Hi, Crystal. I'm Harris. Nice to meet you. Programming director,
Hello.
Daybreak Star Radio Network, and really excited to chat with you. And thanks for taking the time to chat with us today.
No problem. Happy to do it. Happy to be here. Yeah.
So for those like two people somewhere who don't know who you are, can you say who you are and your tribal affiliation and where you're from?
Yes. Thanse, everybody. My name is Crystle Lightning. I am from the Enoch Cree Nation in Treaty 6 territory, which is in Alberta, Canada. I grew up in Los Angeles, but I'm back home now in Alberta for the last 4 years. Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
I love your earrings. I love your top. It looks so colorful and so nice.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm really into vintage. This is vintage from the 70s. And my friend Candace made me these beautiful beaded earrings with crystals in the middle.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
God, the canvas. Canvas, that's great.
Kansas City.
Okay.
So if you could please walk us through your journey in the entertainment industry and how you got started in acting, Crystal. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Okay. So my mother, but actually my whole family is in the entertainment business. And so my mother is an amazing artist, and she was going to a theater school here in Edmonton, and she had graduated, and one of her teachers said, you know, you're really awesome and amazing, and we don't really have the resources here now for you to go to the next level, because back then they didn't have, it was very far and few between as far as if you want to excel in your acting career. So they said, well, if you want to go to the next level, I would recommend you moving to either Los Angeles or New York. And this was in the late 80s, I think it was. And so she picked up everything she owned, put it in a U-Haul with her 3 babies, and drove to Los Angeles and started a new life there. I was just 8 years old. And so as soon as we got to LA, my mom got us an agent. And then I auditioned for my first movie role, which was called Three Ninjas Knuckle Up. And I ended up booking my first lead in a feature film as soon as we moved to LA. So that's how it started.
What a wonderful journey.
Yeah, and at 8 years old.
Yes, I was actually 9. Yeah, but it was. I couldn't believe it because it was snowing when we left Edmonton, and we're driving, and she's like, "Hey, kids, look out the window," and we're driving down PCH, so we see the ocean and the palm trees and everything. It was just like, wow, we're Disneyland, It was just such a different world. But I love California. I mean, who doesn't? The weather and everything. So yeah, that's how it started.
Cool. So how do you prepare for a role? And does your approach change depending on what kind of character you're playing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, first, I read the script a few times and I get to feel for the project and what the writer is envisioning and everything. And so I, of course, depending on the character, if it's an emotionally demanding role with a lot of different elements, and I have an emotional toolbox that I put I put things in there, like whatever I'm feeling, whether I'm going through hard times, happy times, and I pull from that. But I also pull from different people in my life. Like, for example, there's a role that I played named Maggie Moody in this TV show called Trickster. And she was multidimensional. I mean, she had mental illness, she had addiction, but she loved her baby so much. And she just had all these things going on, which for an actor is like a 5-course meal. It's like, that's the role that you want to play. Like, there's so many things going on. So I pulled from a lot of different people in my life, like from this auntie. And I had a friend that, had addiction issues. So I pulled from that, and, it just to create this character. Whereas in comedy, like something like Ghosts that I recur on, that's a completely different style of acting, so it's like, it's very, very fast paced and, reacting fast. Whereas in a drama, it's completely different process. So yeah, my first love is drama. I love the dramatic, meaty roles. For me, that's more fun to play. But yeah, that's basically my process. I just kind of pull from everywhere, and you have to be emotionally open. So it's very therapeutic as well. You have to be able to pull those emotions because you don't want to act. It's supposed to be just reacting off the other person, an authentic emotion coming out, if that makes sense.
Oh, completely.
Yeah. Very vulnerable.
And that's a perfect segue. You just mentioned, of course, the hit amazing show CBS Ghosts. Fans, of course, love seeing you playing your role, Shiki, on CBS Ghosts. And can we expect your character to return for
I hope so.
Upcoming season?
I hope so.
You have to reach out to like a booking agent here, and
so that's the thing, right? I know that's the thing about recurring on shows is that you never know. They say recurring, so in the first episode they're like, "Oh yeah, your role will be recurring." So then they wrote me in the second season, and now they're into the third season, and you don't know until like the episode before. Then they say, "Hey, we wrote you in." This episode of, this episode 6 of season 3, but you don't know. Like, it's kind of like, you're like, are you going to invite me back? I hope so.
Yeah.
Because they never really ended our relationship on the show, right? It's like ongoing. So it's kind of like mysterious. Like, are they going to bring Shiki back? It was never really a closing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully they do. So, and on that, you also have another recurring event in your life, which is Bear Grease, which for those listeners who haven't heard, it is an awesome musical that if it comes to your town, you have got to go. Like seriously, Ronnie and I went last time you came through the Pacific Northwest. It was awesome. And you and the entire cast are just standout performers. It's awesome. So, is the tour going to keep going? What's going on? And can you tell us a little bit about the creation of Bear Grease?
Oh, yeah. So Bear Grease is our baby. My husband, Red Cloud, and our baby. We created the show in our basement during the pandemic when things were kind of slow and everything. And we were sitting on the couch together and Grease came on and we both love Grease. And we're like, oh my God, wouldn't it be amazing if there was a native Grease? Like, in a parallel universe, if we would have if the school would have all been natives and like, how would it be? And the humor and the outfits and everything. And so we're like, let's write it. So, we wrote it and, as an artist, you try different things and sometimes things hit and sometimes things don't, but it was one of the things that we wanted to try. And so the Fringe Theater here in Edmonton reached out and said, hey, can you guys come and do a lightning cloud performance? Cause I'm also a, well, not so much anymore, but I used to be a recording artist and I had a couple, Lightning Cloud was a hip hop group that I was a part of with my husband. And we were like, we haven't done Lightning Cloud in a little while, but what can we pitch something to you? We have this musical in our back pocket and we really want to showcase it. And he was like, sure. They just opened up a new theater for the Fringe. And so we cast it, we choreographed it, we all within 41 days or something. And it sold out in 15 minutes. Oh. Yeah, we were like, whoa. But the real test was, how is the audience going to react? Because it was a predominantly Caucasian audience. And let me tell you, they were on the floor laughing. And we were like, oh, it's working. We got something here, because it's for everyone. It's not just for an Indigenous audience. We wanted everybody to enjoy this. And they got the humor and oh my gosh, it was incredible. So then we started getting booked. Booked. And then just last month we hit our 160th show.
Wow.
We've been touring it for the last 2 years.
Jeez.
And we're currently, it's just such a dream because, having something that you created, but I mean, everyone knows Grease, but just indigenizing it, and, it was a risk that we took, but it's just, the demand is just we're booked up until, into 2026. So it's been an amazing journey. And just, I recently, I played Sandy up until show 140. And then I found this amazing talent that could take over my role of Sandy, that could sing, dance, and rap. And so now I have the privilege to just direct and sit in the audience and just help the show evolve and be in a directing position.
That's really
yeah.
Was it hard to give up your character to someone else? I mean, even if they're a fantastic performer, like, that's giving over your baby.
You know what? That's a great question. Everyone asks me that, and it actually was not difficult. I was really happy to pass the torch. I had been, 140 shows, and it's really difficult to play the lead role, direct, run the show, do everything. It's very challenging. So I was really happy to pass the torch on, and it's like a proud mama feeling, It feels really. I mean, look, of course, any actor loves to be, on the stage and playing, this part. It's just like, there's nothing like it being on a sold out audience of 1,000 people. And, there's nothing like it. You could never get used to that feeling. It's just incredible. But, because we wrote it and we want it to evolve, and I had to give up something. So, it feels really good, to give in that way and give somebody this gift of like, here you go, this is, and I know the way I want the show to look, and it's hard to kind of just, it's like I was spreading myself a little too thin. So yeah, it's amazing. We have so many plans for it. We're like trying to turn it into a TV show, and we have a couple different, ways that we want to go with it. We're just like waiting to find the right home,
That would be an amazing TV show. It was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
We have a beautiful hall up here on our first floor, and we'd have to get you up here to do like an event, like a party to.
We'd love to. Where are you guys based?
We're in Seattle based.
Oh yeah, love Seattle.
Yeah, the Daybreak Star Indian Cultural Center here. So,
beautiful.
Let's talk about artistic influence, which obviously is always a big slice to the pie. How does your heritage influence your artistic choices and the roles you pursue as a director and everything that you've been honored to be in front of?
So my culture it depends on the project. I'm a vessel for the writer, for the creator of the project, right? So if they hire me as an actor to play this specific role and it has nothing to do with my heritage, then that's the way it goes, right? But if it has to do with, if the character is Indigenous, if she's even Cree, then I can implement more of my personal culture through the character, right? I can say, well, can I, through the costumes or through the language or slang or whatever it may be. But it really doesn't, it won't come into play unless it's specific to that project. Do you know what I mean? So if it just happens to be a woman, I can pitch that to the director. Like, would you mind if I implemented some of this Cree influence through the character? Then that would be a conversation I would have with the director or the writer. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Mary Margaret Road Grader, which was directed by Steven Paul Judd, based on the story of Howard Waldrop, you got to explore unique thematic elements. Can you tell us a little bit about what your experience was like working on that project?
Oh, yes. So first of all, I'm a huge fan of Steven Paul Judd. Anything he asks me to do, I will do. He's like our Tarantino, I love his unique style. I've worked with him a few times, and it was the first time that I ever worked with a blue screen. So I talk about using your imagination. Like I was literally, for those who don't know, Mary Margaret Road Grader is about. It's like a futuristic Mad Max. Okay, so my character races road graders, like these tractors, and wins. Like she's kicked ass. And it's so for any female to play a role like that in a power position, it's so awesome. and I beat all the guys, and like, she's just, and, back then it was just like, oh, she's a woman, and she could, I mean, it's just like, this beefed up tractor, yeah, it's so cool. But because it was shot in blue screen, I'm literally sitting in a box, and you have to use your imagination. Like, I'm sitting in this like 12-foot tall tractor with all these gadgets, and I have to pretend, because they add that later on through CGI. So it was a really interesting experience, and I had a blast. I mean, my brother was also in the film, Cody, Martin Sensmeyer. I mean, a lot of respected actors that I had always wanted to work with were also in the film, and it's a short film. So it's a series of 3 stories that George R. R. Martin actually took from his friend, who's an incredible writer. And he said, let me do something with these stories, because I just love them. And they're just sitting here. So that was Barry Margaret was one of them. And so Steven got to direct it and kind of put his stamp and style onto it, which is so cool. I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. It's my cousins and I, we used to get boxes and then line them up in the garage or the yard, depending on if it was hot. I'm from Oklahoma, so the summers were brutal. So we'd all like gather boxes and create spaceships, or like, cut out little windows and throw the dog in there with us. And yeah,
so cool, right? I mean, it's just like a play,
you got to do it, and like somebody else made all the stuff right out of the imagination. That's amazing.
Yeah, and even the costumes. I mean, it was like parts of cars were used as currency. So my belt was like, it had like pieces of nuts and bolts, and the parts of cars through the jewelry. I mean, it was just like, he's so amazing.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
What would you say, Crystle, has been the most rewarding part of your acting career up to this point? And I know it's probably a tough question, so take your time.
Actually, it's pretty easy, that one. My most rewarding experience was playing Maggie Moody in Trickster. I mean, it was just, I finally felt like, at that point in my life, I was kind of going through, okay, so I'll back up a little bit. I was in Los Angeles, and I was driving to my bartending job on Hollywood Boulevard, and I was looking up at this billboard of this movie that I was so close to getting. I mean, like, it was between me and this other girl. And I'm driving to my job to go work at my dive bar, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm done with this business. There's so much rejection. And I just like, and I was, I talked to Cloud, and I'm like, you know what? We've been together for this long, and, let's have a baby. So let's like move on to the next phase of our life. Yeah. So we ended up getting pregnant, and long story short, I had said, I'm going to move. I want to be a mama, and, I'll put acting to the side for right now. And I just want to like, switch the gears a little bit. While I was in the hospital, 4 days after giving birth, my son was a little bit early, so I had to stay in the hospital for a little longer. He was totally fine, but just early. So my agent calls me, and she says, remember this thing that you auditioned for a couple months ago? Well, the director wants to meet you. And I'm like, well, I am in the hospital. I just had a baby. And she's like, well, the director's going to fly to Edmonton and meet you. And I was like, okay, sure. So, and I was in Edmonton. So I said, sure. So I went to go get like an outfit, because I had to, I still lived in California, but I happened to be in Edmonton during this time. So I went and I got an outfit from like Goodwill, and I went to go meet her, and, and I still had my hospital bracelet on. Well, I ended up booking the lead role in this TV series while I was in the I know. And it ended up being the most rewarding role and experience of my entire life, because I had thought, when you become a mother, like, that's it. Like, you just have, like, that's what you do. But it's not, like, life is so, you just never know, when things are going to hit, or you just have to be ready for it. And I told them, I said, I have a newborn baby. They were like, no problem. They were so supportive of it. So I shot this lead role. I played the lead role in Trickster when I was 2 months postpartum with my brand new baby on set with me, still nursing him in between shots and pumping and doing, I was able to do it all. And I think it helped me with the performance. And I ended up winning, a Canadian Screen Award for Best Actress in a TV series from that role. Which was actually, hold on. Actually, here's my.
We get to see it. How cool is that?
It's so heavy.
But
yeah, I ended, and so that's what I mean. It's like, you never know with life. I was so done with it, and I ended up getting this amazing gift of a child, a brand new baby, and this role, and ended up winning an award from it. And it was just like incredible. And it taught me a huge lesson in life that, you don't know. It's timing, it's experience, it's this, it's that, everything at the right cosmic timing, divine timing. So that's been my most amazing reward in my career.
Yeah, honestly, what you were saying about being off screen and taking care of your child, because you were fantastic in that role. I mean, obviously you won an award. You don't need me to tell you. The role was so well played. And now thinking about it now is like, of course you had that deep emotional connection, because you had that when you were off set too. Like, it was everything so fresh and raw. It's lots going on with your body and your child and this new amazing opportunity. Like, that really, yeah, that was really
it did. It helped. Everything helped. I mean, the lack of sleep, I think I was like 3 hours of sleep a night, and just, but I was also so ready for this part too. I'd worked my whole life wanting to show, to flex my, I'd always gotten these parts that were like, oh, it's cool, like nice little roles here and there. But like, this was like it, where I could do everything. And I wasn't just playing a pretty girl. Do you know what I mean? It was like, I got to play somebody with some meat. Yeah.
Yeah. There was so much soul in that. So yeah, different.
Thank you.
So on that, are there any upcoming projects that you could share with us, or are they all still hush hush, or what's going on?
Yeah, no. So Mary Margaret will be coming out this year. It will be premiering at during the Santa Fe Indian Market in August. So that's exciting. And then we'll figure out like what the film festival circuit will be like with that film. I've also stepped into behind the scenes a little bit into this new phase of my life, which is really exciting, of directing and producing. So I will be co-directing a feature film called Salesman of the Year with my mother, Crystle Lightning, in the next few months, which is so exciting because I've been in the industry a long time, since I was a child. So I do know a lot of behind the scenes, but I've always been just in front of the camera. So I'm really excited with that project. I'll be working with Eric Schwag, my mother, and a lot of other awesome people. And this other project with Sarah Collies, who was in like Prison Break and Walking Dead. She's incredible. I worked with her on The Good Doctor. She hired me in that show. One episode that she was directing, I got to work with her on that. And so we just became friends, and she wants to partner up with me for her feature film that she wrote, and she's going to direct. So I'll be helping produce that, which is like really exciting too. So I'll be helping with like the Indigenous casting and being on set and, helping produce the film. So yeah.
Thank you so much. I used to work in film and do some crew stuff, and I can't tell you how nice it is to have female directors and producers. Oh my gosh. Thank you for the hard work and stepping up.
Oh man, thank you. Yes, I'm really excited, and I totally echo what you're saying. It's hard to find that Indigenous female, period, to be in those positions, and I feel like that's what we're lacking as far as our representation. Like, we have to be the ones telling our stories, and we have to be the ones in those positions. Not just like the tokens. You know what I mean? So I'm really happy to be stepping into that role in the next year here.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much.
You display so much positive energy and so many good vibes. I mean, it's literally coming through the screen here in our...
You're so sweet. Thank you.
And it's all about relationships. And, when you don't burn bridges and you respect one another and you're not afraid to ask for help or assistance here and there, these are the stories that we hear. These are the successes that we hear, and it's just to be able to get a testimonial like yours is just it's true. It's truly a blessing. It's truly a blessing and an honor to be chatting with you and being able to display these good vibes together here with you. We only have a few more questions. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
I do want to add one more thing. I do have a film coming out called Fancy Dance, which I had the privilege of being in with Lily Gladstone, who was just nominated for an Oscar. Amazing. So yeah, I'm in a movie with her, and it's premiering in New York on June 21st, and it'll be on Apple TV just after that. So look out for that. I play the role of Sapphire, which is her little love interest, which is fun. So yeah, check that out too.
Yeah. And everybody listening, make sure you check out Fancy Dance when it comes out on whatever platform you have.
Apple TV.
And don't worry, when you come up here, we'll supply security, so you don't have to bring your bodyguards from wherever you're coming from. We'll try to put that into the budget somehow. So,
okay, you're so funny.
What are some of the challenges? And we always have to ask the question because our listeners always like to see all aspects of the people that we're honored to chat with here in Seattle that you faced in the entertainment industry, and how you've overcome them as an actress and an entrepreneur and someone just massively successful.
Great question. I would say the biggest challenge of this industry is probably the rejection and the unknown of, for example, why you didn't get this role, or you could have 10, 20 auditions in a row and not have one bite. And you give your heart and your soul into these auditions. And you really, you never ever find out why you didn't get something, how come they went with this person, and it's just, after a while it becomes really tough. But one thing the biggest thing I've learned, and it's such a relief once you get this lesson, is that is the nature of this beast. You just, I picked a profession that is just, it's not like you go when you graduate and you get a diploma and then you get a job and you know that you're going to get this much, you're going to work these hours, that you're going to get this much money. This industry is like not like that, which I just told you guys what my story was with Trickster. It's like I'm in the hospital when I get the role. you just don't know. And you get so close to things, and it's just rejection after rejection. But once you just know that it's not personal, it's just the way it is. It's like you just do your best and forget the rest. And I do this because I love it. I do this because I have to do it. I'm an artist inside of my soul. And so whether it be theater, whether it be in music, whether it be in front of the camera, behind the camera, I'm always going to be in this industry some way or form, because I have to, because it's part of me. But as far as the performance side, it's just the rejection is tough. But once you go, it's not me, it's because maybe I'm too tall, I'm too short, maybe I'm this or that, then it's just, you just let it go. And it's just like, why didn't I tell myself this when I was in my 20s? It would have relieved so much heartache, but it's just the way it is. Acceptance.
On that's a great lead into one of my favorite questions. We always like to show Native youth that they can do anything. And so what advice would you give our youth who are looking at the TV, wondering if they could even act or run a camera or, be a grip, whatever it is? What advice would you give them?
I would say if you want to be an actor, the first thing is join a theater class or group in your school and just start getting your feet wet that way. Really start to get the heebie-jeebies out, and start getting into theater, research your favorite actors, read about them, learn everything that you can about the industry, and the steps that it takes, then you get your headshot, then you join Actors Access, then you try to get an agent. But the first step is join a theater class in your community, and start there, and see what you're into. If you're into comedy, if you're into theater, if you want to be in commercials, read plays, go to plays, learn everything that you possibly can about the industry. And don't give up. Do not give up. It could be discouraging, but because of the nature of this business, but you just got to keep on going and keep on going. You never know when it's going to hit. You never know. And I am a testament to that.
Yep, you could have just given birth and laying in a hospital bed.
Exactly, right? Come on.
That's the best story ever, truly. Expect the unexpected.
Oh my gosh.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what else is funny? I have to add this. So, sorry, this is like going back, but while it was on the set of Trickster, there's a scene where I'm supposed to be grabbing my baby, my brand new baby from Wade, and the little baby didn't show up to the set. I guess he was sick. And so they were like, oh my gosh, what do we, and I was like, I have a newborn child in my trailer right now. So they ended up using my son in that scene. So that's actually really my son in the show. Yeah. True story.
That is awesome. Was that his first experience in film?
Yes, it was. And it was just totally an accident. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even have to act. I could just really feel this and look at my baby and like,
thank you for sharing that with us. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
So honored that you gave us your time.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. You guys are great. Thanks for having me. Next time I'm in Seattle, I got to come say hi.
Please do. Come on by and hop on the air with us, and we'll have a great interview. And maybe we'll cook some good. We have good, delicious salmon here. That nice grill.
Ooh.
So have a nice.
My favorite.
Yeah,
I bring salmon in all the time.
Yeah. And Ronnie producer brings salmon up from the Cowlitz tribe.
Oh, yummy! Oh, my mouth's watering.
We're locked and loaded.
Yeah.